What?
Yeah,
Oh,
so people doodle
okay, he wants me to read this. Welcome to the All American Otaku Show, is that right? Okay, don't kill me. Thank you. Bye.
That's so good.
All American Otaku, join the ride, jumping in where the stories collide. From the screen to the song, this is where we belong. All American Otaku, let's come alive. Let's go.
Hey everyone, check out the All American Otaku Show. It's gonna be awesome!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All American Otaku Show. Today's review is about the anime series that came out a little while ago called Jack of All Trades, Party of None. This anime is a fantasy area where there is dungeons, different classes, different variations of magic. The idea of fighting monsters and floor bosses are all prominent here. The idea of there's a wizard, a hero party, there's dragons, there's minotaurs, there's all sorts of these fantasy elements, which makes it a really good if you're into mythology and fantasy as I am. Being a D&D player and playing that, watching this thing, it reminds you like, okay, what class and various different magic that exists there. The idea that there's a world beyond of what we believe, more of the fantasy score. This goes for the character named Orin, who is a none other than a support mage who uses support magic to help and enhance his party members. He thought he had a childhood friend who wanted to grow up to be a hero party and explore all these floors in the dungeon. We don't know how many floors or how many levels or how many monsters are left in the dungeon, or we don't know more about Oren's past or his family friend's past. It starts off with him going in the group, and he's like his party group, and even his childhood friend, who he respected and who he thought of highly of, decides to reject him, who decides to kick him out of the party for being too weak or holding him down. This happens to be not the case because he invented spells that enhanced them, made them stronger, made their spells more have a punch to it, and they didn't realize what they had and what they lost, that their party is greatly diminished by losing Orin. They also looked out there and tried to get another person to replace them, but they're not nearly as good. A floor boss that they easily defeated and went past to the lower floors, a black dragon, they ended up having problems with, almost destroyed, almost killed, and they look back as, did Orin really do this for us? Did Orin really do that for us? Was Orin really the person who made us weaker? Or was Orin the one who lifted us up? Goes to show you sometimes the people who helped us out are the real people that really makes us strong. Sometimes a support person or a healer like you have in, or buffer that you have in various different video games or MMOs are just as important as your tank or your attacker, if it's not more important. Orin was self-doubt. He ends up traveling the dungeons alone, fighting various different monsters and various gyms and bring there and keeping his whole aspect of life really together. He ends up rescuing a redhead girl who was having a problem with these wolf monsters. He ends up defeating this wolf monster and saving her life. He goes in there and finds out she's part of a group called the Nighttime Silver Rabbits. You meet her sister, who's an older sister, of course. He ends up joining Orin, and Orin ends up being a teacher of all these other kids who he teaches them how to fight and how to use their abilities there. It shows they have various different lower areas, like one character thinks lower on herself because she was tortured and back together there as an experiment because she has the abilities of regeneration. She will always regenerate from no matter how severe of an injury is. So she looked at herself as there, and something snapped there. She wants to make people happy, even though it makes her lower herself. She tries to fight and destroy something right there and finds out she's getting beat up and coming back and still feels the pain. And Orin says, you got to look better at yourself, look higherly at yourself, and really build onto that. Use your swords and dodge and defend your party, and your party will let your party help you all together. You have the guy who was arrogant but learned to support and how great someone is, as well as you learn from the sister who was looked down upon because she was born from a maid, but also from the father who was a noble. And they were looked at lesser upon because of that. They all come together and learn to look self-worth and how he found more self-worth in themselves. But as a teacher, you find self-worth from your students and bring their self-worth. This in turn bringing your self-worth is giving you a purpose. That goes into my own life, wanting to teach English in Japan eventually. I want to learn, have a new purpose in life. And I like Japanese culture, so it is a win-win for me. As well as this anime goes into the idea where he eventually faces the Black Dragon and he defeats it by himself. And the party looks at her, no way, Oren, he was weak. He couldn't do that by himself. This has got to be a lie. Then they found out it's actually true, that he's actually stronger and his abilities are, and he was overlooked, which made him strong and made them strong. Made people who thought they were so powerful are really not that powerful or one of the mill. It's because Oren was a special person. His special enhanced abilities, his special sword abilities, and so forth made the group stronger. Now that they realize that, they're like, I'm going to try to build myself to be strong as Oren or stronger than Oren because I know he's weak. Then you find out on the sub thing that he has another member, a family friend in there who thinks he's dead, so he's going revenge against the church and various against the empire, and eventually finding out to revenge to who killed Oren. Oren they finally re-meet each other, and they find out that the fact that they in turn, he's still alive. There's been a memory wipe. There's been something going on here. There's a slub plot that we don't know. This is where it leaves the more answers than questions. Him in a new group, a new party, new purpose. But does he have a different purpose? Is his memory wiped or what is there? So far, I give this first season, and I'm hoping there's going to be more, a 5 out of 5. Thank you.
Welcome to the show where anime dreams come alive. Let's go! All American Otaku vivified, diving deep into the anime tide. From the screen to the page, we're turning every stage. All American Otaku, where worlds collide. From the 90s till now, the passion's been real. Anime and manga, it's how we feel. Conventions and scenes, cooking up dreams. Japanese culture bursting at the seams. From the 90s till now, the passion's been real. Anime and manga, it's how we feel. Conventions and scenes, cooking up dreams. Japanese culture bursting at the seams. All American Otaku vivified, diving deep into the anime tide. From the screen to the page, we're turning every stage. All American Otaku, where worlds collide. I'm there and Mr. Pat by my side, exploring every genre, let's take that ride. From action to drama, it's all here. Community strong, let's make it clear. Otaku dreams, we're chasing